Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to our 30th show. It happens to be Labor Day weekend. Shout out to all those folks out there that work so hard, celebrate a great, wonderful Labor Day weekend. I also am really proud. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had a number of days that we've been in the top 20 on iTunes Business. So we appreciate everybody listening all over the world and, doing the downloads that gets us in that top 20. I think one day we got as high as top 11 or up to number 11. So we're watching that every day and trying to bring great content out to you that actually makes a really big difference for you. Last week, our class or our show was on cold calls, and I've had a lot of response from that. My ninjas that are out there working know the cold call gig. They do it all the time. This past week, I even went out with a couple of my ninjas, and we went totally cold call and had some really interesting stops. We have one client that I took one of our ninja trainee sales folks out, and I said, we're just going to call on the one street going towards our office. And we made 6 calls on this street and found 3 opportunities, all within less than an hour. It wasn't phone calls, it was actually walking in. And one of the calls we made, we walked into a corner gas station and that would use our products, and we pretty much assumed when we pull in this would just be a random cold call. When we got done, the particular guy gave us the owners, three owners' names, their cell phone numbers, all the contact information, and told them that they did buy what we bought. And from being a very kind of standoffish visit when we first started, it went pretty epic. Because the guy gave us all the information, told us that they do buy what we sell, and that gave us the information and said he would also pass on the information, give us a big old handshake on the way out. So never underestimate the value of cold calling. Today, I also want to talk about Friday. I attended a sales training session. It was put on by our local Chamber of Commerce. The folks that did it, our local group here, and the Sandler Training Group, Clint Babcock. And those guys do a great job. They have a great process for training sales, and shout out to them. However, when I do attend those, I watch a lot of people, and there was probably 40 or 50 people in there in this training session, and everybody's learning how to communicate, how to network, and all what I call the selling skills that people really discuss and really talk about. I kind of tack in a different direction, and my direction's been very successful for me since I was in my early 20s. It's also been very successful for my ninjas, or my folks that I've trained over the last 40 years. And it kind of begs the question that most people are confronted with, which is the competitive market, pricing is tough out there, the economy, all these self-talk issues. The challenge I've found when I deep dive every group, and it's even this Friday when I attended this thing, all the best sales techniques in the world do you absolutely zero good if you're not there for the transaction. And so when you look at people that are successful in sales and you talk to them and they go, yeah, man, I close 80% and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you start looking at how many dollars in sales they do, and you look at their marketplace, you ask yourself, what happens to all these other sales that are transacting every day that you didn't know about? It didn't have anything to do with your product. It didn't have anything to do with your price. It didn't have anything to do with your training. Maybe some with your training because you're not out in front of them, but it didn't have anything to do with your techniques of salesmanship. So you were just a victim of not being on the deals. And what exacerbates this to even a greater degree is when we find out how many deals we close that we're kind of the exclusive salesperson on. And what I mean by that is we end up going out, we have clients, our clients buy from us. Every deal we do is not a down and out, 3 people on it, knocking feature benefit, all the other stuff that we theoretically learn in our sales training. We have clients that do business with us. So that's where it begs the question. If we have clients that do business with us, our competitors have the same situation. They have clients doing business with them, where it's not all dog eat dog price. Let's make sure be on the, have the brochures, make sure you have all the marketing materials. We're not even on the deals. So I'm going to, again, kind of reemphasize being on deals. And what I'm showing you on the screen today, if you're watching the video and I'll talk it out loud, is again the 3 circles. So you still want to take your sales, whatever they are. I have one individual that does really successful in sales. He's one of my ninjas. When we did the 3 circle sales, we found out that his circle of the sales he had, he was a big success, was just a small share of the market that he serviced. And so now he's out working on the circle 2 in the diagram, which is getting on the deals. And the biggest amount of business out there is a business you don't even know about. It's a business you don't even know about. So the biggest thing is taking the time to learn how to be on deals. And so when you have a transaction that's happening right around you, such as the other day when I drove down the road and we made those 6 cold calls, the people we called on had bought products that we sell, but they had not bought it from us, nor had they attempted to buy from us, nor had we quoted them, nor had we done any of these things that traditional. We didn't have features, benefits, all that. We didn't even know about it. So I wanted today to reemphasize to all of you out there, especially you that are in sales management or leadership, or if you're the CEO of your company, you want to ask your question. If we're growing and our sales are growing, is the market just growing and our sales is growing just by virtue of the size of the market? Or are we truly growing our business? Are we taking market share from others? Are we going out and creating or getting on deals that would have normally happened without our participation? And my analysis when I sit down, and I'm, by the way, happy, anybody that wants to reach out at help@deanakers.com, that's help@deanakers.com, I'll be happy to give you a free online consultation on this and just go through the math with you. Because at the end of the day, if you're not on these transactions, price, features and benefits, competition, none of that matters. And when you do the deep dive on it, or you get the analysis done, you're probably going to be pretty shocked at how many deals you actually don't participate in, and more importantly, how many deals you actually participate in where you're the only party in and of yourself, which would indicate a lot of your competitors are in the same space. So I'm a real believer in cold calls and getting on deals. Like I said, I attended this sales training session. Everybody was trying to figure out how to network, and I was sharing with them, if you know your segment of customer, then go after that segment, because you know they buy. You don't need to go out and feature and benefit them to death, because you know they buy your stuff every day. And that's just about every product that I've ever worked with. When we were in the tire business, it was true. When we were in the copy machine business, it was true. Every business I've been in, it's pretty much been a truism. So this coming week, Mr. Dean is actually going to get in his car, and I'm going to go out, and this week I'm going to spend this week personally cold calling on clients that are my customer value clients, just dropping in. So when I get back with you next week, I'll have some interesting things to report, because I have a lot of contacts. I can generally, quote, get appointments with people, as everybody tries to do. I know a lot of people. So I want to go out and get back to basics and go out and do it. I've got 2 or 3 of my ninja groups. I'm taking them out, and we're just going to go cold calling. So I encourage you this week, take a half a day. Get in your car. You know what your customer looks like. You know what their type of customer is. You should be able to get their information from a book list from your various business magazines, or Tampa Bay Business, in our case, has a book list. You can find all the top players, and then just go meet them. Just physically walk in there and meet them, and teach your team and work your team to get on the transactions. You want to get them on the transactions. So if you want to ask a question, or you want some help, please reach out to help@deanakers.com. And let me give you my personal email too. That's dean@deanacres.com, dean@deanacres.com. You can also listen to past podcasts on www.deanacres.com. We're on iTunes and we're on Stitcher and all the other major podcast venues. And these videos we do are on YouTube and Facebook and other venues like that. So your assignment this next week to prove Mr. Dean wrong is go out and meet customers that are like your existing customers and just listen to the deals you lose, not because of price, not because it's competitive, but for the simple fact that you weren't on the deal.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanacres.com. Also, visit us at www.deanacres.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.